conservative and liberal. And if you'll recall with this, the detainee one had strong elements of populism.
Whistleblower was the tattletale, right?
Yeah, the tattletale one, that's right, the
Marshall.
tattletale one.
Yeah.
Okay, as we go on into chapter 7, do you remember anything or anything
are you
at all
ready?
in reference to chapter
You-
7?
I gotta go.
How do you?
The F scale. What was the F scale from chapter 7? Anybody at all?
Every 5 minutes.
If you go back through this,
And then you just
oftentimes what I'll do is I will use these boxes that are in the chapters. And the F scale is actually page 131, dealing with the authoritarian personality. It says here, they devised a 29-item questionnaire that allegedly showed pre-fascist political views, hence its name, the F scale. And it goes on. Persons who scored high on it were conventional in lifestyle to the point of rigidity, were intolerant, prejudiced, and hostile toward outsiders and minorities, submitted to and liked power, and were superstitious and mystical. It goes on here and it basically says that as you scored higher on this F scale, you were more likely to be, I guess, supportive of an authoritarian leader or an authoritarian system. Maybe even you had an authoritarian lifestyle in the grand scheme of things. That's what the F scale was. For chapter 7, in this one we start getting into some of the cartoons. Popeye cartoon is one that's on here. And have a look at that if you missed class or whatnot from the other day. But there's going to be some questions in reference to Popeye. There's got to be, because we spent a decent amount of time on it. Korematsu is another one. And this is probably the second big theme that you'll end up seeing, was basically dealing with dehumanization, was dealing with Korematsu, was dealing with kind of Japan in World War II. And we brought up Japan in a number of different instances in reference to World War II. So that might be something that would be a pretty good question. I mentioned to you that there's going to be 20 points of short answers. It is very possible that instead of just answering 4 of 6 or 4 of 7 5-pointers, that you could conceivably have a 10-point question or 2 on there, because there's enough information to warrant it. So you might actually have, only have to answer 2 of them if you choose 10-pointers, if indeed that's what I give you. If indeed that's what I give you. But you would need to write more, obviously, twice as much as you would on a 5. Yes, sir?
What was the end result of the Korematsu case? Did he end up getting shipped to the camp, or was
He ended up being sent to the camp, and what was the justification?
Because in order to be like a true patriot, sometimes you have to go and isolate yourself in order to.
His responsibility.
That's
rescue
exactly what it was. When
responsible
you talk
citizen.
about citizens, use the word patriot. Patriot's good, but citizen might be even better. And what they said in here was, as an American citizen, citizenship includes both rights, which would be freedom, but also responsibilities. And responsibilities, John, as you said, would be being required to go into those concentration camps, or those internment camps, I should say, during the context of World War II to make the country safer. Yes, David?
Didn't the Supreme Court also say that whenever like the government like makes like a certain order, like I guess you could say singling out like a certain type of people, all of them have to be, there can be no exceptions. They all have to be treated the exact same way.
That gets a little iffy, and I know exactly what you're saying. The thought is that all citizens would be treated the exact same way by the law, and that would be the beauty of the system. In terms of the Japan part of it, where we relocated those folks into the internment camps, they should have done something legal about this, a finding, a hearing, something, and that was what came up repeatedly, because they locked up an awful lot of innocent people for an extended amount of time. Could they have let people out during the context of it after they had gone through the hearings? Yes, but they never ever did. So do they have to treat all of the groups or all of the people in that one group the same? Not really, but they didn't. They treated them all the same in the sense of violating everybody's rights.
That's what I meant, like not treating them fairly, but like not, I guess you could say, giving any exceptions, like when the government singles out like a certain group of people.
And the other thing with this, they didn't make exceptions.
Like unless they were in the military.
And the military would have been the one example, and Korematsu in this instance, they had proven that he was a loyal citizen, but they